Welcome back to the Patrick Lane Show, where we talk about personal finance, investing, and real estate. Today we're going to talk about real estate. And we haven't done a lot of that on the channel. We've been focused on sort of the investing and personal finance side. But real estate is one of those areas where, with a little bit of money, your ability to leverage that into a lot bigger assets. Now, we're going to talk about a little bit about how to find those assets that you can buy in the real estate sphere. So before we do that, do me a favor, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell so you get notified when we put a video out, and smashing that like button helps the YouTube algorithm to push out our videos. And we appreciate your help in doing that. So the other day we went to a real estate auction. Now, for, obviously if you want to buy real estate, you can go to the MLS, which is the multiple listing service. That's just where every realtor lists their properties for sale. You could check the local newspaper. Do they still have newspapers? You can check the online ads. You can check Facebook notices, Facebook Marketplace, all of these different areas. You can just drive neighborhoods and find properties to invest in. But sometimes you get lucky and you come across a real estate auction. And in the area that we live right now, there are a lot of auctions that happen for either estate sales, distressed properties, bank-owned properties get auctioned off, and all of these different reasons that people would sell. But there's a couple of particular auction companies that have really been marketing well and build up a business in auctioning off homes. And sometimes they get auctioned off instead of being listed with a real estate agent. So that could present a good opportunity for those of us who are real estate investors to purchase the property before it actually goes out to a broader market. And I say before it goes to a broader market because there's a different mindset between a seller who lists a property on the MLS and a seller who sells it through an auction service. The seller on the MLS sort of understands, at least in our area, that they're going to list it on an MLS and it's going to sit there for a little while, and they might get an offer, they might get a couple of offers, but it's going to take them 60 to 90 days probably to sell that property, particularly if it's a property that is distressed. Now, distressed property means that usually there's some maintenance issues. There could be finance issues with the seller. It could be, they're having money troubles. Maybe they're going through a bankruptcy. Maybe they've had a divorce and they're forced to sell the property to settle up the divorce. Or it could be a foreclosure and the bank owns the property and they're just trying to get it off their books and make back what they can. So all of those reasons are reasons for a distressed property sale. So the other day we went to a property auction that was fairly close to us, and we were able to participate in the auction process, and we thought it would be a good idea to bring you along for that process. So the house itself was, I think it was about 4 bedrooms, although the way the layout was, you could have made some more bedrooms in it. It was about 3,000 square feet. Obviously needed some work. It needed updated, first of all, and then there were some foundation issues. Now, foundation issues are a sort of a big scare for most people. A lot of investors in our particular area sort of look at that as an understandable risk that they take. We've bought properties in the past that needed foundation repair, and if you get someone who knows what they're doing and they charge a decent rate, you can factor that into what you're going to pay for the property. And once you get it rehabbed, you come out the other end and it's a fine property. There's no issues with it. Now, it might scare some people off, obviously. If you don't have the money to put into the foundation repair to do it the right way, then you want to stay away from those sorts of properties that have foundation issues because it's going to cost money. But this house, it needed updated, it needed some foundation work, it needed just general spiffing up, okay? But we thought it would be a good property if we could get it for the right price. And that's what it all boils down to, is when you look at a property for sale, whether it's on the MLS, whether it's off market, or whether it's an auction, You've got to know the numbers beforehand when you go into it. That's the key. Know the numbers first. So then you go to the auction and you know what you can bid. So you've got to look at what the market's going to be for the after repair value of a house. And that is what it is after it's fixed up. What can you sell it for? Or what is the value of this property after it's all fixed up? So after we've updated the flooring and redid the kitchen and updated the bathrooms and fixed whatever mechanical or structural problems there are, what is that value somebody's going to come in and pay? So we sort of figured that in the area where we were looking, where this house was sitting, that value was going to be at about $280,000 was the absolute top that this thing would sell for. And so we knew going in that we wanted to make a certain profit, and we estimated by walking through it, by looking at the square footage, and then also looking at the foundation issues, that it was going to take a good amount of money to repair this. You're talking about a 3,000 square foot house. So let's say that you put $10 to $20 into just fixing it up, replacing the floors, making it look modern and nice, replacing the cabinets, the kitchen, the bathrooms, those sorts of things. You can sort of figure between $10 and $20 a square foot for those types of things. So a 3,000 square foot, you're talking about $30,000 to $60,000 for those types of basic rehab. Then you add in what it's going to cost to repair that foundation. Well, this particular foundation, when we looked at it, it needed some work. So we were thinking it was going to be at least $30,000 in our area to fix that foundation issue. There were big wide cracks in the walls. It was being braced up. So we knew that there was going to be some cost and expense there. So we had those numbers in our mind, and we started through the bid process. And auctions are exciting because you've got a bunch of people standing around. You've got your little cards you've registered, and the auctioneer starts off with his canter about bidding things up. And then you have somebody bid, and then another person bid. And then, if you're not careful, if you're bidding, you can get caught up in that and say, oh, well, it's only another $5,000, or it's only another $2,500, or it's only another $10,000, whatever the case may be. But you always have to have in the back of your mind your numbers. Where is your limit? And that's going to be based on your estimated after repair value minus what you think it's going to cost to rehab and repair the property. And then you also have to account for holding costs, cost of money, the electricity, the utilities, the insurance during the time that you own the property and before you either sell it or you get it into your rental portfolio. And so while we're going through this process, the bid starts out, I think it started at 100,000, then it went to 120 real quick. Then it slowed down and went 125, 130, 140, and we were sort of out at about the 135 to 140 range. That was getting up to the point where we didn't think we were going to have enough cushion to make the profit that we wanted to see in investing that money. So I think it actually ended up settling at about 145 is what the sale price was, and then in our area, there's a 10% buyer's premium. That's what's paid to the auctioneer for actually doing conducting the auction. So if you think about selling a house, you pay your realtor 6% usually, and in this case, the seller in the traditional sense, the seller pays the realtor the 6% commission. In an auction in this arena, the buyer pays the 10% premium. So for a house that sold for $145,000, you've got to add another $14,500 on top of that. So that's going to bring you out to about $159,000 is what you end up putting into that house to close the sale. And so it was a great opportunity to look at the house, see the house, and determine where we were, what the value was going to be on this. And a lot of people forget about that buyer's premium. So if you ever go to an auction to buy a house, make sure you understand how the buyer's premium works for those auctioned off houses, because If you're bidding at 145 and you don't realize there's another 10% on top of that, you may have just shot your budget by not taking into account that buyer's premium. So for us, this particular auction didn't work out. It got too high, too expensive for us, and we didn't buy. We passed on it. We were out, like I said, at 130, 135, in that range. And it went up to about 145. And, we don't feel bad about it because, yeah, we may have lost out on an opportunity to make money, but we also stick to that formula and we stick to our numbers. So I just wanted to bring to you a little bit of our experience with that auction. Maybe that helps you to understand how the auction process works for real estate. And if you've got any questions or comments about how things work at real estate auctions, do me a favor, leave a comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Would you go buy a house at an auction? Would you buy a property at an auction? Or are you more comfortable just buying through the MLS and sort of the traditional way? And do me a favor, let me know down below. And also, before we get out of here, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that notification bell so that the YouTube algorithm will help us to push out the video and you'll get to see the videos when we put them out. We appreciate you checking in with us today, and we'll see you in the next video.